Craig Crash here, live on week one of the high school football season. A lot of good games going on tonight. Got off to an electric start with Cathedral scoring the first touchdown of the season on a punt gone wrong by Lafayette Jeff. That was pretty crazy. A lot of good. We got a semi-state rematch between Hamilton Southeastern and Carroll. Right now, Hamilton Southeastern dominating that one 21-7. That's the game that I'm watching right now. 10:44 to go in quarter number 4. Very excited to see what this high school football season has in store for us. I had to do a little bit of a different setup on the fly here. I thought I could use TikTok's live studio. Apparently I cannot do that, so we are doing the old school way that I did during the postseason last year. So we're just kind of chilling. It's an old school vibe here. Let's go ahead and look at some of the scores. That's what we want to do. Looking at some of the scores from around the state. Looking at 6A, you've got number 22, Warsaw, with the 10-7 lead in the fourth quarter over Michigan City. Number 17, Penn, leads 32-21 over Valpo. That's a pretty big one. Valpo, of course, in a 5A school, the 5A defending champion. We're interested to see what they could do. They end up, looks like they're going to fall in their first game of the season. Number 20, Lake Central, over Munster right now, 27-7 at halftime. Pike hanging with Zionsville. Pike's had a rough couple of seasons, but they are they're hanging with number 18 Zionsville. Pike number 25 this year. Carmel with the 14-7 lead. That's a ranked matchup in 6A. Number 13 Carmel against number 24 Homestead, 14-7. Carmel with the lead over Homestead. We've got Lawrence Central all over Arsenal Tech, 48-0. Elkhart trailing Concord, 16-6. Fort Wayne Snyder taking it to number 9 Warren Central. That's a pretty big one. Snyder was a team going into the season that I really wasn't sure what to make of them, because they've got a little bit of turnover, and it just seems like the last few years Snyder has not been able to get over that hump that we'd like to see them get over. They haven't been able to make a play when it matters most. They haven't been able to get to that next stage. They've had the teams to go on and win state, but of course you can't really fault them last year. I think it was the overtime game against Valpo where they lost at the last second. So it'd be a big statement win for Snyder if they can finish this off against the 6A school in Warren Central. What's going on, Alexa? How are you doing this fine Friday night? Lawrence North right now leading Avon 24-10. Westfield taking it to New Pal 31-7. Crown Point with a 21-0 lead over Lowell. Number 5 Ben Davis with the 34-14 lead over Bishop Moeller. Cathedral, of course, earlier with the 55-14 win over Lafayette Jeff. Lafayette Jeff ranked number 15 in 6A, and you think they're going to do great things this year. They, played really well in the sectionals last year. They had a good season. What can they do this year? And, Cathedral being able to kind of put on the performance they did kind of shows you where Cathedral's at, and a tough opening game for Lafayette Jeff. I appreciate that, Emma. Thank you. Brownsburg with the 43-7 win over Fort Wayne Bishop Dwenger. And like I said earlier, Hamilton Southeastern with the 21-7 lead over Carroll right now. So that's where we are at in terms of the ranked 6A schools. Interesting to see what Brownsburg does this season. Last year, there was a lot of hype with Jaden Whitaker. I know they were my dark horse to win the class. Ultimately, that did not happen. But I wondered if, because it's always tough when a team loses their starting quarterback. It's always tough to see where they're going to end up. So the fact that they get their season off to a win, a big win, a resounding win over Dwenger, is pretty incredible. I appreciate the fist bump. Yes, I hope you're excited for football. I know I am. Week 1 of the Indiana high school football season. And how about our boy Josh Ringer tonight? 6 touchdowns last time I saw. Absolutely insane. Final just coming across Roncalli with the 43-20 win over Southport. Unbelievable win for Roncalli. How about Owen Valley? Let's see what they were up to tonight. Let's see what they were able to do. Ooh, Owen Valley with the 60-0 win over Brown County. Unreal win for Owen Valley. They're gonna have another good season, I believe. Can you put on some music? Maybe next time. Honestly, I had to kind of do this on the fly. Because I thought I could use the Live Creator Studio, and so I had everything kind of set up on that, and so maybe I don't know what I'd be able to do on my phone, that kind of thing. So apologies. I know it's a little rough, but it is what it is. Lutheran right now leading Beech Grove 30-0 at halftime. That was, of course, came across about an hour or so ago, so that game is probably well into the second half. As Hamilton Southeastern is going to have another touchdown, a big run for Hamilton Southeastern. They go up now 28-7 over Carroll. Carroll, not a great start to their 2023 campaign. What about Edgewood? Let's see what they were able to do. Chittard, surprisingly enough, was not doing so hot last time I checked. I'm sure it's changed now, but Edgewood, I don't have a score for that right now. You're kind of at the mercy of Max Preps, unfortunately. Let me see if I can... Gabe Drew. So here's what I have from Twitter. Gabe Drew with his third touchdown of the night through the air. 34-20 Edgewood. The Mustangs on top. That was about 11 minutes ago. So the latest from their game is that they're up 34-20 right now on Mitchell. So it looks like they're in good position. Yeah, let's check in on Chittard. Because like I said, last time I checked, they were not in a great spot. But maybe I saw that wrong. They're probably in good shape now. Oh, yeah. So last time I checked, I was fairly certain it was like a close game between them and Brebeuf. It's not anymore. Bishop Chittard, the number one team in 3A, up 49-23 on Brebeuf. The Braves in a tough spot as Chittard. Looks like they're going to be the dominant team in 3A again. My 3A pick was Gibson Southern. But honestly, more or less it was because I had picked, repeat state champions in like every class on our preview show. So I was like, let me go a little different. Let me zag to what the normal thought might be. So I went Gibson Southern, but it's probably going to end up being Oregon. Thanks for the update. No problem. There's my ceiling fan. Look, it's kind of a makeshift setup right now. Thanks for the updates. No problem. Yeah, that's what I want to start doing. Every week, every Friday night, I plan to be live, doing these updates. Hopefully next week, what I'll probably end up doing is seeing if I can get my stream key off of TikTok. Because that's the problem when TikTok comes out with like a software that you're like, oh, hey, it's like OBS. Using some streaming jargon for you guys if you don't know what that is. It's just basically streaming software. TikTok has their own. So it's like, okay, I don't have to worry about trying to mess with the stream key or anything. I can just go live and that's that. And so I go live and they're like, oh, hey, actually this is only for gaming and you need I think I needed 3,000 followers, which we're close to. So guys, blow this up. Blow this up so we can get to 3,000 followers and I can apply to use TikTok's live studio, which is really silly that they do that. Really silly. Did you see when Gibson lost to Owen Valley last year? I did see that. They do bring back a lot of good talent, though. I think Gibson Southern's gonna be pretty solid. I mean, Owen Valley is too. I mean, that sectional, if they're still in the same sectional, I believe they are. It's gonna be a tough one again, but yeah, I went Gibson Southern for 3A, but like I said, Chittard, man, they just are on another level a good chunk of the time. Let's look at the top 25 for 5A. Some of the scores from there. Castle with the 14-13 lead over Evansville North. Penn now even further up on number one Valpo, 38-21. Warsaw still up 10-7 over Michigan City. West Lafayette absolutely drubbed by Harrison. 42-6. And just to let you guys know, if you're trying to join the live, I probably am not going to accept it. I'm not running that risk unless you ask me ahead of time before the live, or if you're like a player or something like that, and I can verify you somehow, then that way we'll do it that way. But I'm not going to just willy-nilly add people to the live. That sounds like a recipe for disaster. Northridge with the 19-13 lead on Fort Wayne. I believe that's Fort Wayne North. Yeah, Fort Wayne North side. So Northridge leading that game. That's a little bit surprising there. Northview 34-0 over Terre Haute North. Whiteland with the 37-14 lead on Jeffersonville. Fort Wayne Snyder extends their lead on Warren Central 35-14. Maryville 21-6 leaders over Andrean. Greenwood 45-42 leaders over Seymour. Mishawaka with the 44-12 lead, or no, 44-12 is the final over Mishawaka Marion. Plainfield with the Plainfield and Terre Haute South Vigo. That game does not have a score on there. I don't know why I went into that. Garrett Catholic 15-3 leaders over McCutcheon. Bloomington North with the 34-14 lead over Mooresville. Westfield wins their game 34-14. That just came across the top of my screen there. They beat, I believe they were playing Pike, but nevertheless they win 34-14. Let's see, Columbus North over Decatur Central right now 14-12. Brownsburg continuing to light up Fort Wayne Bishop Dwenger 51-7. Franklin Community 21-3 leaders over New Albany. Chesterton and Hobart are tied at 7 in the third quarter. LaPorte with a 10-8 lead over New Prairie in the third quarter. And St. Xavier all over Floyd Central right now 52-13. So that's what the 5A schedule looks like at the moment. Let's see what we can look at here. Greenfield Central wins 49-0 over Madison. That's nuts. I guess I can click off of Hamilton Southeastern and Carroll. Looks like Carroll's regular season winning streak is going to end. I know they were undefeated last year. What did they do before that? We can see what their streak was. They had won, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, or 8. 8. They won 8 in a row to end that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So they'd won 17 regular season games in a row. That will end today, most likely. 7:22 left to go in quarter number 4. Hamilton Southeastern with a 28-7 lead. 3rd down and 2. And Hamilton Southeastern will pick that one up as they cross midfield. So that will keep the clock moving. And that will get Hamilton Southeastern closer to the win. Hamilton Southeastern, as another team, kind of like Snyder, where I think, okay, they're going to be strong, but what exactly are we going to get? Are we going to get the Hamilton Southeastern team that kind of ran out of gas in the semi-state against Carroll? Or are we going to get a Hamilton Southeastern team that absolutely crushed a tough schedule, beating Brownsburg in the last week of the season, which finished off their undefeated season? They beat Fishers in the regular season. They had a lot of tough opponents last season. They were able to walk through that schedule pretty much unscathed. Oh, big play almost for the Royals there. Let's see here. Bloomington North extending their lead 34-14. Cecina taking it to Concordia right now, 48-20. East Central finishes the 42-7 win over Lawrenceburg. Mater Dei leads Central 21-6. South Putnam absolutely drubs Cloverdale 69-0. LaVille 17-10 winners over Bremen. I thought LaVille they were my 2A dark horse. I think LaVille can do some damage. That's for sure. Let's pick up on some more scores here. Let's go to 4A, see what we got here. There's that Evansville Modern Day score over Evansville Central. How's Mount Vernon? Actually, you know what? It's probably good to go ahead and click over to that game. Because with 5:07 to go, it's still Hamilton Southeastern's going to punt, but they're still up by 21. So I'm not too worried about the Royals. So let's go to Mount Vernon and Noblesville. Noblesville at the half, or getting close to the half, is currently leading 28-8. Not great for the Marauders. 28-8 is the score. Look, it's literally 6A against 4A. So, I know Noblesville, is not the greatest 6A school, and Mount Vernon, just a couple of years ago was at the top of 4A. So it's not like a huge difference scale-wise, but still, I think Noblesville is going to be improved, though, this year from where they were a couple of years ago. We beat them our first year. We played them in 6A. I gotcha. I'll be interested to see what Mount Vernon does this year. They coming off of the state championship 2 years ago. I knew they would take a little bit of a step back last year, and they kind of did, but they made a decent run in the sectionals. So interested to see what they do this year. But it looks like they're just going to be content to run out the rest of the first half and go into halftime down 20. So yeah, it's going to be Noblesville 28-8 over Mount Vernon at the half. That was the year when we were at the top, but yeah, Noblesville is looking pretty good this year. I think it's going to be a little rough with the O-line. Yeah. So yeah, officially at halftime now, Noblesville up 28-8. Looking at some other 4A scores now, Evansville Memorial leads Jasper 23-13. Marion up on Fort Wayne Southside 16-14. Fort Wayne beats Crispus Attucks 35-12. Westfield defeats New Powell, as we said earlier, 34-14. Providence all over Indianapolis, Washington, 49-0. Northridge up on Fort Wayne North 19-13. Charlestown 28-13 over Silver Creek. Columbia City beats Churubusco 49-8, or is leading Churubusco 49-8. Purdue Polytechnic 64-0 over Shortridge. Crown Point leads Lowell 28-0. Connorsville defeats Richmond 19-13. Tri-West Hendricks with the 42-6 win over Western. Mississinawa with a narrow 2-point victory 23-21 over Norwell. Lutheran 50-0 winners over Beech Grove. They're off to a hot start again. And Peru over Logansport right now 42-28. Let's see. We've also got, or does this keep just giving me the top 25 in the state? No, I think it's in 4A still. Kokomo over Leo right now, 16-14. Hobart over Chesterton at 13-7. LaPorte over New Prairie, 17-15. Cecina just gets the win. That just came across my screen there. Let's look at 3A now. Heritage Hills with the 45-13 win over Southridge. That's number 6 versus number 25, so that's a big win there in 4A. Charlestown, already read that one. Let's see. Danville leads Greencastle 15-14. LaPel loses to Hamilton Heights 27-14. Covenant Christian loses to Speedway 33-21. That's a little bit of a shocker. Usually Covenant Christian is a little bit better. Oak Hill 34-19 lead over Eastern. Sheridan, my dark horse, I think for 1A. Yeah. Were they my 1A dark horse or 2A or 3A? They were one of my dark horses. They lose to Weibo 35-16. Mississinawa over Norwell. We got that one earlier. Garin Catholic has extended their lead 18-13 over McCutcheon. Batesville and Indian Creek are tied at 7 in the second quarter. Delta leads Muncie Central in the third quarter 21-7. Hanover Central leads 26-8 over Wheeler. Knox has completed their victory over Winnemac 43-0. Vincent's Lincoln over Evansville Bosse 49-30. South Adams, they get the win over Tipton today. Good win for the Starfires. Carmel gets the 14-7 win over Homestead. So they get off to a good start. Getting some more scores here, trying to see what other updates we can get. Pretty much the same ones rolling in as before, so let's go back to some scores here. Forest Park in the second quarter leads Princeton 28-0. Sullivan beats North Knox 34-6. Winchester dominates Monroe Central 42-13. They get the win there. Southern Wells over Elwood right now in the second quarter 17-12. West Noble over Central Noble 47-7 in the fourth quarter. Alexandria taking it to Westell 49-6. Maryville leading Andrean now 21-6. Heritage Christian with the 47-12 lead over Crawfordsville. Eastbrook up 7-0 over Huntington North. Linton Stockton gets the win 39-0 over Park Heritage. That's pretty big. Talked about in the preview show that Linton Stockton, they lose a lot of talent, but they've won now 21 regular season games in a row, which is pretty insane because the last 2 years they've had undefeated regular seasons, but lost to Evansville Mater Dei in the sectionals or in the state tournament. And you've wondered, all right, now that Evansville Mater Dei, they lose a little bit of their talent, they may not be as strong. So what will they be able to do, Linton Stockton, what will they be able to do in 2A? And I think that they can make a run. I think they can do pretty well. What do I think about Althoff? Not going to lie to you, I don't know what that is or who that is. It's probably someone I should know. But there's a lot to digest in Indiana high school football. And so there are some things we say at the beginning of every preview that we do. You know your team better than we do. So, if there's something we missed or something we don't really quite understand, definitely let us know. And, of course, the Cecina score coming across, 48-20. They got the win there. Cecina over Fort Wayne Concordia Lutheran. And looking at some 1A scores now. Of course, we've got a lot of those ranked ones earlier. North Davies 26-18 over Washington. Springs Valley with the 20-14 win over Eastern Green. Park Tudor over Greenwood Christian 42-6. Nice to see Greenwood. I mean, I know they got beat, but nice to see Greenwood Christian Academy as someone who has called several of their basketball games. It's cool to see them. That's my cat. It's cool to see them with a football team now. That's pretty cool. Final right now from Penn. Valpo loses to Penn 38-21. Milan with the 27-20 win over Rushville. West Central with the 18-12 win over Caston. Waconaquah over Southwood 40-27. North Decatur over South Decatur 41-14. Adams Central over Garrett 42-8. North Judson 47-0 winners over Culver Community. Riverton Park 26-0 over Riverton Park. So those are some scores from around the state here on week 1 of the Indiana high school football season. As right now we're watching Noblesville and Mount Vernon, which is at halftime. Noblesville up 28-8 on Mount Vernon. Football either, so I can kind of relate to that. It's funny because I say, hey, if my high school would have had football, I would have played, and people were like, Craig, you don't have an athletic bone in your body. And I say they wouldn't have had a choice because our school wasn't big enough. So they would have had to take whoever wanted to play. Of course, for basketball in Indiana, everywhere else it's just basketball, but for Indiana, it just means more. Hope you're doing well, Spencer, on this Friday night. see what other scores we've got here. We've got another touchdown for Crown Point. So they're now up, I think, on like 35-0 in their game. Next week, I will have, because the original plan, again, I know you guys don't want to hear me bellyache about TikTok's live app and not letting me actually do the live stream that I wanted to do, because the live stream I wanted to do would have been a little bit more involved. We would have had, I would have been able to show you guys clips as I was like going through. I had liked a bunch of clips and everything from the, from like earlier on in the night. And then it was like, no, actually you can't go live with this app. And I was like, cool, awesome. So I next week, like I said, I'm going to try to do it from OBS, or at least in a way where I can show you guys clips and go through the scores that way. The two schools I'm interested in hearing about are Columbus North and Westfield. Westfield did get the win, 34-14. I've got memory like a goldfish. I got to go back and look and see who they played. I want to say it's Pike. I want to say they beat Pike, but maybe it was New Pal. No, Pike was playing Zionsville. That's what it was. Westfield did beat New Pal 34-14. Columbus North. Let's see what they did. They lost. Columbus North lost to Decatur Central 18-14. So not great for Columbus North off the gate. Of course, you got to contend with Bo Polston, the quarterback for Decatur Central. He's one of the quarterbacks to watch this season. So I don't have the stats from that game. But let's see, Decatur Central. Surprised by that one. North was always a tough program back in the day. Yeah, all the Columbus schools used to be. I felt like it at like the top, like they were like one of the top, not like all of them. Columbus East, Columbus North, Columbus, like all the Columbuses. It's just North and East, but both just have very solid football history. Yeah, I was like, I knew Columbus East because I went to college. I mean, you also went to college with one of their former linemen. Also, the great Luke Martin from Columbus North. Columbus East, sorry, not Columbus North. Let's see if I get any stats for Bo Polston. But it does not look like it. Evansville Memorial, they get the dub 30-13 over Jasper, so that game has gone final. Kankakee Valley with Rensselaer is leading Kankakee Valley 28-27. I believe that's Rensselaer. East Olympians, unique mascot, as is Westfield Shamrocks. Yeah, I like both of those mascots. For sure. The Olympians' uniforms are pretty cool, too. Second half getting underway now for Noblesville and Mount Vernon. So let's kind of look at this drive here. See if Mount Vernon can do something here. Because if they can end up scoring, then they're right back in this thing. What is Bro watching? Bro is watching some Indiana high school football. It's week 1 of the season. We're watching Mount Vernon and Noblesville at the moment. And right away, a pass over the middle. It's caught. And right away, Mount Vernon is into Noblesville territory. It was a quick pass. It was basically the quarterback got the snap, threw it as quick as he could to the cutting wide receiver. And he breaks a tackle and goes about 20 to 25 yards upfield and gets Mount Vernon into plus territory. So, I mean, we talk about, hey, if they can get a quick score, they're in good shape. Noblesville now saying they were recovered on the ensuing snap, that there was a fumble, but I don't believe that's what we're going to go with. It'll be 2nd down and 9 from the Noblesville 43. And after a running play, Mount Vernon's going to have 3rd down. So very pivotal play here. Do you have a game of the week, one game you're most interested in? I was really intrigued to see Carroll and Hamilton Southeastern. More or less. Now, of course, I'm really anxious to see what Center Grove does in their week 1 game. They're playing the number 1 team from Ohio. But I was interested to see the rematch between Carroll and Hamilton Southeastern because I think those are 2 teams that had a lot of questions coming into 2023. They had big campaigns a year ago. Of course, that's a rematch of the semi-state game is on 3rd down. Mount Vernon's not going to get the 1st down, so we'll see if they end up going for it as they're inside the Noblesville 40. I was really interested to see because Carroll, they had a strong season. Of course, that ends with kind of a thud in the 6A championship game against Center Grove. Can they end up having a good season? Can they, kind of double up on that fantastic year they had a year ago? And Hamilton Southeastern was probably one of the biggest surprises for me. I was not expecting them to have the season they had, especially with kind of the teams they played. I mean, I know they ran like the gauntlet of 6A opponents, they beat Westfield, I think, last year. They beat Fishers. They really had a tough schedule, and they lived up to it. They beat Brownsburg, who was the number 1 team in 6A going into the last week of the season. And so, what do they do in 2023? What does Carroll do in 2023? Are these 2 teams legitimate 6A contenders? And then Hamilton Southeastern goes out and wins 28-7, which is pretty remarkable to have that resounding of a win, especially because Carroll was I released the All 3C media team earlier this week. Carroll was my defense, and they just gave up 28 points. Hamilton Southeastern just put up, a big number on them. So I was interested to see how that game would go. The game we're watching now, interested to see what Noblesville looked like in this coming season. As they, opened a new stadium last year, what would they look like, in 2023? But yeah, that rematch of the 6A semi-state was one I had circled, and I did not expect it to be as lopsided as it was. Because it was quite lopsided. As that game now has officially gone final, 28-7, Hamilton Southeastern, with the 28-7 win. Or sorry, 28-14 is the final score. Another touchdown for Crown Point. They lead 42-7 over Lowell. Bloomington South with the 45-10 win over Columbus East. By the way, Mount Vernon did not get the first down when they went for it on fourth down. They did not get it. Noblesville has the football back. They're on second down and 18 now with 8:37 and counting to go in quarter number 3. We'll see if they score. That's a big momentum swing in favor of the Millers. Looking to see now, Garin Catholic in the fourth quarter. They lead McCutcheon 18-10. Looking to see if we can find any more scores here. Franklin wins their game 42-3 over. I can't see who they beat in that one. Franklin. Who did they play here in week 1? They beat New Albany tonight. That's who they beat, 42-3. Mooresville hanging tough against Bloomington North, 34-29 with 3:01 remaining in the game. Let's see if we can find that game, since this one's being a little bit of a dud as well. Some of these games have gone final. I wish they would not be on the list still. That would be a cool thing. Yeah, there we go. Mooresville and Bloomington North. Let's see what we can see on that one. Did Northwood beat Jimtown? They were taking care of business the last time I saw. They were up by it was 36-15. So I believe if that stayed the same, then I think they're in good shape. Nitro Tuggle. He stood out to me when I was making the all 3C media team. I thought he was definitely a good candidate to be he not only for his receiving skills but also for his ability on returns, because his numbers on returns last year were pretty good, and he also had some solid numbers receiving. So yeah, I think he's going to have another big year. He's definitely on my watch list of, for the All 3C Media team as being one of the better wide receivers in the state. He was knocking on the door of the top 50 in receiving yards last year, and I think he has I think he can be top 20, top 30 type talent. Yeah, Center Grove's game is going to be really interesting tomorrow. With 2:16 to go in the fourth and counting, it's 34-29 Bloomington North over Mooresville. First and 10 is what they've got right now, and it looks like they're going to be more or less in victory formation, and they will be. So Bloomington North is going to take a knee. They're going to get the win on opening night. Penn did win. They were up 38-20 the last time I knew on Valpo. Penn did get the win. So it looks like Bloomington North is going to finish this one out as the winner. $41-6, Harrison won today's game. That's pretty nuts. Who they beat? They beat West Lafayette. That's pretty nuts. Pike versus Zionsville. Let's look back at that game because Pike was hanging with Zionsville. Does tonight feel like Christmas for you? It really does. When the high school football season kicks off, it's just really an exciting time. So yeah, it does feel like Christmas. Northview, they get the win over Terre Haute North, 48-16. That final just came across. That game just came across my screen too. Let's see what Pike and Zionsville did. Zionsville ends up getting the win, 24-21 over Pike. But Pike kind of surprised me. Pike the last couple of years has not been all that great. So good to see them hanging with a team like Zionsville. All right, so Bloomington North, that game officially goes final. They win 34-29, a close one because Bloomington North was up, I think, like by 20 at one point. So the fact that Mooresville came back, made it a game, that's pretty exciting. Let's see if we've got any other scores that are kind of milling around here. Some of these games I'm sure have gone final. I don't think Frontier's still playing. Not Frontier. Fort Wayne Snyder. Leo and Kokomo is kind of a crazy game. Oh. Well, they're not currently streaming, so that makes a difference. Some of these games are winding down, which is the same thing we're going to be doing with this broadcast here shortly. We're going to be winding it down. Let's see here. See if Bremen and LaVille is still going on. It's not. All right. Let's go back to Noblesville and Mount Vernon. And that's where we'll kind of end it. We'll end it after the third quarter there. Third and 3 for Noblesville with 5:25 to go in the third quarter. Still 28-8. Penn did go. That game did go final. They beat Valpo 38-21. First and 10 for Noblesville. Now they're in their own territory again. Ooh, big play, big catch by the receiver for Noblesville. He's in the 15-20, he's in the 15-10-5. He's taken down short of the goal line. I got too excited. I wasn't expecting that. Over the top of the defenders there. What a play for Noblesville. Quarterback just finds his receiver. Number 3 for Noblesville just gets behind the secondary, makes a bobbling catch, and gets all the way down to, it looks like, the 1.5-yard line for Mount Vernon. And if they can score, that'll pretty much be the dagger. And that will give Noblesville the Week 1 win. For the most part. I mean, we're still in the third quarter, but essentially. Yeah, Noblesville last year 4-7. They were 2-8, 2-8, 1-9. They haven't had a winning season since 2001? That doesn't seem right. That's pretty wild. There's the handoff for Noblesville, and the Millers getting in the end zone, and that is the dagger on Mount Vernon. If they can convert the extra point, it'll be 35-8 here in the waning moments of quarter number 3. As it was just a handoff and a powerful run by Noblesville. Touchdown Millers. Extra point is up and good, and with 4:26 to go in the third, Noblesville up 35-8. And guys, I think that is where I'm going to leave it tonight. We'll do one more scoreboard update for the top 25 in the state, according to Max Preps here. Penn gets the win over number 17 Valpo, 38-21. Cathedral all over Lafayette Jeff, 55-14. Cathedral's the number 2 team in the state. Number 19 Lawrence Central wins 54-0 over Indianapolis Arsenal Tech. Carmel with the 14-7 win over Homestead. Lawrence North wins 24-17 over Avon. Number 18 Brebeuf gets their bell rung a little bit against number 15 Bishop Chittard. Chittard wins 49-23. Fort Wayne Schneider with the 42-20 win over Warren Central. Number 10 Ron Colley wins by 23 over Southport, 43-20. Indianapolis Lutheran. How about a 1A school ranked in the top 10 in the state? That's pretty wild. 50-0 winners over Beech Grove. Number 7 Westfield, 34-14 winners over New Pal. Excuse me, I'm getting the hiccups. East Central with the 42-7 win over Lawrenceburg. Fort Wayne Northside falls to Northridge, 26-13. Hamilton Southeastern, a rematch of last year's 6A semi-state. They win. Hamilton Southeastern wins 28-14, and Brownsburg absolutely destroys Fort Wayne Bishop Dwenger 51-7. So those are some of the scores from around the state of Indiana. Oh, great night of Indiana high school football. A lot of amazing moments. Got started off strong with the botched punt there from Cathedral or from Lafayette Jeff. That led to a Cathedral touchdown, and that was all Cathedral from that point on. But great night, great way to get started for the high school football season. Basically how it's going to go, well, of course, tonight was extremely scuffed, so I thank you guys for watching and hanging out tonight. It was a lot of fun. Upcoming schedule for 3C Media. Be on the lookout. We've got our Notre Dame season preview tomorrow. That's going to be coming out. If you missed any of today's broadcast, I'll be posting that on Sunday. The full recap of week 1 of the high school football season. And then coming up this next week, we'll have our Indianapolis Colts preview. That'll be coming out on Wednesday on the 3C Media YouTube channel. So go over, check that out. 3C Media on YouTube. And if you want to stay locked in on the socials, add 3C Media Sports on Twitter, thank you guys all for hanging out tonight. It was a ton of fun. And we will see you for our week 2 live reaction. Hopefully it'll be a little bit better quality than this one was. Kind of had to, go on the fly here. So again, thank you guys all for hanging out, and I will see you guys all in week 2. Also be on the lookout for a video. I'll be looking for your guys' nominations and votes for week 1 MVP for 3C Media. A lot of great candidates out there. So I will see you guys all in week 2. Be on the lookout for more content. I'll check you guys later. Have a good rest of your weekend.